Look at the piping.
Okay.
Because if the piping is incorrect, that would mean that this insulation was probably incorrect, and it was incorrect and not permitted. So the piping here is correct.
Okay, great.
And so my first inclination, this has been permitted and it's probably, installed correctly.
Right.
Now, we look over here and it's like, why would they run it in here? And then the gas line, this was the gas line that was coming out of here off the side panel.
Okay.
Okay, well, this gas line coming out here on the side panel, we know that that's a big no-no.
Okay.
And why the hell did they do that?
Right.
So then we remove the panels, we look at all this, and there's, on this bottom panel, it has a deal here that was, this opening here was for, this is where a burner set when the unit had all the stuff.
I see.
Okay, so now what we do is now, we want to, the thought is to remove, if we stub the gas line here through this hole,
Yep.
we can just hook it up, and you could use it off the key.
Okay.
But it's kind of unsafe, especially for like a rental. It doesn't have the electronics and everything.
Right.
And then you're like, okay, how do you run the pipe, or what's going on here? So what I've done is I've pried this up here. See right here?
Yep.
Okay, now if you look inside there, see that little box there? That's what's left of some of the electronics.
Oh, okay.
Okay, now see in there where this pipe back there, that's the gas pipe, and then they put this flex tube through there.
Okay.
Okay, so now what's going on is right here, under this tile and minimum,
Okay.
there is a recessed panel. This recessed panel has the louvers, and it makes this all under here accessible.
Sure.
Okay, and it also has vents in it, and it keeps everything from overheating and helps the unit itself.
Right.
It's manufactured on the unit. And if you fill in here, you can actually fill in there.
Oh, yeah. I see what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I have one at home. And,
exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's probably the exact same one you have.
Right.
So what they've done is they've gotten in here and they've tiled over this. They shouldn't have.
Okay.
It's not the right thing to do. Now, the one thing that I'm curious about on this unit is up here. Is there vents up here too? I believe, everyone I've seen, there's vents up here. But like I say, what I do as a plumber contractor is I run all the gas pipe to it, and then I hook up the unit, and I say, "Where's my money?"
Right. Right.
And that's and
so
somebody else actually installs it and frames it in and does all that, and then the electronics, I usually Ray does them if there's a problem because he's more into the electronics.
Sure.
But on a new unit or anything, there shouldn't be a problem, or it shouldn't be anything, you know what I'm saying? There shouldn't be anything to fix because it's a new unit.
Right.
So right now, what I would do if I owned the place,
Okay.
if this was my place, especially being a rental,
Right.
remove. I would think about this here. If you remove this, you're losing all your tile here.
Yeah.
Okay, so now this here, we might be able to get this on a grout joint and make it look decent, but I don't know. I wouldn't guarantee it.
Right.
One never tells. And this surround here, I mean, it's okay, but it's not something that I would have, I don't dislike it, but I don't really,
I mean, I guess one option is just to remove all of it because it's just a facade anyway.
Exactly right. And then you could see what actually needed to be done and not redone and redo it. And that would probably be the safest, the best, most practical especially for a rental.
Yeah.
Because as you know, if you're using it as a rental, you want to err on caution everywhere you can.
Right.
Right, and this definitely needs to remove. I wouldn't, if it were mine, I would not repipe it. I would put the electronic controls in here and then remove the flex line and do a little bit of piping. But if you like we said under here, gas line is already here that would hook to the electronic controls.
The gas line is already there. That
Right,
would hook to the
and I may want to shorten up this one piece here. But there again is before I proceeded any further, what I'd want to do if you had me do the rest is I'd want to get the controls in my hand and do it correctly.
Okay.
Okay, and then there's if you have the information for the controls, if I purchase this, there would be a markup. If you purchased it and left it here, I would be happy to install it.
Okay. Just the labor, right?
Right.
Okay. I guess so. At this point, with what you've done so far, what would be the next step? Here's the thing. It's a rental. It'd be nice to have it working. Is it absolutely necessary that the fireplace works? To me, no, not really. I just want to make sure that people can take a hot shower, they can use the rest of the house. I turn my fireplace on maybe 5 times a year.
Now, the thing is, now the yin to the yang is, okay, you get renters in here. The renters sometimes are not the brightest people in the world, or not astute to home ownership.
Right.
And then if this didn't have some kind of setup on it, they might be inclined to put use it as a wood burner.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And then if they did it as a wood burner, it could kill them.
Yeah.
Okay, now, there again is, now, you can also, or another option might be, is just cap it off here, put a cap on it, they can't get any gas to it, and then put a decorative logs in there and stuff, and then, then they'd have to remove all this stuff to make it a wood burner.
Right.
And then, then they would be, I would think they'd be less, I don't think they would put logs in there and try to do logs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'd put it in the lease and specifically say that, the fireplace is not operable, it's decorative
And
only.
there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, and then actually what happens on that too is, if you decided to do it if you do it that way, I would recommend that then we cut this pipe over here and we cap it off, just because if you turn on the gas line, it's not going to go nowhere, it's not going to do anything. Right now you have an open gas line.
Yeah.
If it's, the only thing that's shutting it off is the valve here. If you see what I'm saying.
So this house belongs to my client. I have to, that's why I'm recording this, so she hears it straight from you what's going
That's
on.
great. She's lucky she has you.
But this way,
Yeah.
she'll make that decision, and
I tell you we can, right now we have a couple options then. Okay, we can, this vacuum is full of the glass.
okay.
Okay, so I didn't know whether you wanted to return the glass. I could haul this off and dump it if you didn't want it.
Yeah.
But if you wanted, and then if you wanted to, I can put the panels. Well, I wouldn't put the panels back till you decided what you wanted to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then what happens is, I wouldn't do that until you decided what you want to do. If it were me doing it, I'd decide you don't have to decide right now.
Well, I'd like to get it done, and I know she would too.
Right.
Whatever it is that we choose to do, we want to get this place rented out and not have to worry about this. So, what would be?
Well, now, okay, then if you decide to get it to the operable unit, what's the lead time for getting the electronics? It depends on your option that you take.
So would I call Ray, or would I?
You could, actually, I think that you'd be better off getting the unit and having me install. Ray's not going to hook the unit up.
Okay.
And then we would call Ray once it was hooked up and everything was back together.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't operational because of the electronics,
Right.
then we call Ray in, and Ray's our electronics guy.
Okay.
But I don't foresee that happening. If it's a new unit, all you do is you hook the gas pipe up and you put it in here.
Where do I get these things? At Home Depot?
Well, how did you get the information on it?
The other one was he's a fireplace specialist, and he would install and he would do all of it. Like, he's actually building it. Actually, if you hold on a second, I'll